We work in an attention economy. Every day is a constant barrage of shifting screens, rapid-fire notifications, and high-speed problem-solving. Yet when we need to learn a new skill to keep up with that world, we often return to an industrial-era system designed over a century ago. This passive, lecture-based model scales up to higher education and corporate training, but the mechanics remain the same. An authority figure talks, and a room full of seated adults listens. Dictating the exact time, place, and pace of a lesson strips adult learners of their autonomy. It trains people to wait for instructions rather than building the problem-solving skills the modern workplace requires. To survive the future of work, we have to re-engineer a new learning architecture, one built on self-direction and blended learning. In a volatile job market, shifting from a fixed industrial model to an agile learning architecture is a necessity for professional survival. The foundational layer of this architecture is Selbstgesteuertes Lernen, a term for self-directed learning where the student takes responsibility for their own progress. This framework flips the traditional power dynamics. The control shifts away from a single central teacher node to the independent learners, who now dictate the parameters of what, when, where, and how they learn. This autonomy changes the role of the teacher. Instead of delivering a centralized lecture, they facilitate and navigate the learning process alongside the student. Instructors provide pedagogical scaffolding, the structural support, mentorship, and feedback loops that guide the learner's independent journey without dictating it. Establishing autonomy as the base layer generates the deep internal motivation required to tackle complex subjects over the long term. Autonomy requires specific tools. Digital learning materials must trigger active engagement. Simply hosting a PDF on a screen does not constitute a digital curriculum. The ICAP framework measures a learner's true cognitive engagement across 4 levels: interactive, constructive, active, and passive. Most standard one-way monologue videos trap learners in the lowest passive tier of cognitive processing. We can reach the upper tiers by applying Richard Mayer's cognitive theory of multimedia learning, which uses dialogue-style videos and branching nanomodules, small interactive learning units, to force the brain to actively process information. When students must make choices or solve problems within the digital module, they actively construct knowledge rather than just observing it. Digital materials are only effective if they are specifically engineered to trigger this active cognitive processing. That is how screen time becomes actual skill building. Curious, if those digital tools are so efficient, why do we still require physical, face-to-face learning environments? This is Kolb's learning cycle. It illustrates the 4 modes the brain needs to fully anchor new knowledge: concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Digital asynchronous tools excel at abstract conceptualization and reflective observation. Learners can process complex theory and reflect on it at their own pace. But the concrete experience and active experimentation phases require physical, synchronous meetups. Pure collaboration and real-time testing provide the friction required to cement those skills. Blended learning is the seamless integration of these digital and physical environments to complete the entire psychological learning cycle. An educational architecture that lacks either the digital efficiency or the physical collaboration will fail to anchor knowledge in the adult brain. The fully assembled blended learning architecture is a continuous, flexible ecosystem that wraps around the adult learner's entire life. Successfully navigating this ecosystem forges critical meta-skills like self-regulation, time management, and digital literacy. Those meta-skills map directly to the demands of the new work environment. Adaptable learners become the most valuable professionals in a changing economy. Assess your own educational reality. Are you a passive passenger in an industrial relic, or are you ready to become the architect of your own